Eyes forward.
That was bad. I'm one of the good guys, remember?
How many must die before you are satisfied?
I have seen many deaths, but now I'm only looking forward to one. And then I can rest.
He will take responsibility, you know.
As must we all.
May the gods forgive me.
Eyes forward.
That was bad. I'm one of the good guys, remember?
Just walk.
guys, get out of here. For crying out loud. Unbelievable scenes. These Niflheimers, they just love a scrap. Goodness me. Welcome to the IGN premiere of Final Fantasy 15. I am so pleased to be here. My name is Pete Donaldson. Hello to all of you watching in UCI cinemas all over Europe, audience cinemas too, and for those of you also who are joining us on IGN.com. We've taken a little bit of Final Fantasy 15 and basically stuck it in a big building in East London, and we're going to have so much fun tonight. We've got the battle zone. I'm calling this the battle zone tonight with our fine, brave fighters. Over here, we've got so many people playing the video game as well. Are you guys enjoying playing the game? They can't hear me. They can't hear me. They've got their headphones on. They're enjoying an immersive experience. We've got, over here, we've got a campsite as well. I'm going to be chatting to John Campling, start of Kingsglaive, very, very soon indeed. But for me, guys, you've got to check this out. Follow me, come on. This is the pièce de résistance for me. Oh, my God. It's the Crow's Nest Diner. It's the Crow's Nest Diner, one of the many eateries you can enjoy in Final Fantasy 15. There's a lot of people in one place in here, goodness me. We've got power sliding chocobos, or chocobos rather. We've got Hajime Tabata as well, the creator of Final Fantasy 15. And hopefully we've got you as well. If you want to get involved, do give us a tweet. The hashtag is IGN Premier FFXV. Catchy. We are going to be asking a girl for your thoughts, if you will. Coming up very soon, we've got some exclusive gameplay footage as well. But right now, we've shown you a little bit of Final Fantasy 15. Let's check out how big the world actually is.
Ready? Let's hit it.
Woo! I know that! That's the old meteor.
It is. Still burning to this day.
Wow!
Nice.
This place is pretty big.
Haven't enjoyed the city life in a while. Everybody out. Should be a nice change of pace.
Best road trip ever. Did you see how cool that car was? The regalia, so many customization options, 15,000 combinations possible, loads of music to play while you're driving around Eos. Amazing stuff. So you can vote. We've got some gameplay to give you very, very soon indeed. You've got a choice though. You can either see Noctis and his crew beat the holy heck out of a Bandersnatch or a Midgardsormr. If you want to get involved, it's vote.ign.com. Choose which slice of Final Fantasy 15 you want to check out. I hear it a little bit later. We may be checking out a Leviathan as well, so stay tuned for that. Because, you know, we like to give you a choice with these things, because democracy is a beautiful thing. And speaking of beautiful things, here's Ian Dixon from Square Enix. You all right, man?
Very well, thank you, Pete.
Why are there so many people in our house?
I don't.
There's
There's loads.
Weird, isn't it? Who invited these people? Goodness me. So you're really excited to introduce Final Fantasy 15. Obviously, you've been working on the promotional side of things for quite a while, but you've stuck about 60 odd hours into it yourself. You love Final Fantasy 15, don't you?
I do. I've played a lot of this game, and yeah, I'm still looking forward to playing it myself in my own front room. Finally, I'm really excited to play it.
You just want to be back in your front room, to be honest. You're exhausted. So we've gone from kind of turn-based combat and turn-based stuff like that to a real-time experience. How is that going to work?
Well, you know, with Final Fantasy 15, we've brought everything up to date. You know, the new console generation allows a lot more power to do a lot more things. This is the first open-world Final Fantasy with real-time combat. So, you know, we have the ability to do that now. So now you can roam the world in your adventure, find things to attack them, you know, claim all the bits that they drop, and do what you want with them.
A lesson for life, really, in many ways. You live in a rough area, Ian, goodness me. Tell me about the link attacks. Obviously, Noctis teams up with all the rest of his crew to kick in some monsters. How do they work?
Yeah, so link attacks are a really cool thing in Final Fantasy 15. They're context-sensitive battle moves. So when you're doing your combos in battle, if one of your teammates are next to you, you can actually, when you perform a move and you counter and you actually do the parry, they will actually join in with you and do extra damage. So it allows you to strategize during the fight. Who are you next to? Should you move to a different part of the area to fight a monster because someone is there to help you with the attack?
Great animation as well when they do team up.
Amazing. Yeah,
They are the master of that. Have you got a favourite link attack?
Yeah, there's a link attack, actually. It's really cool. Gladio actually lets Noctis stand on his sword. He throws him into the air while he's holding a spear, and then Noctis comes down with one of the classic jump-style moves from previous Final Fantasy games, yeah.
Well, I want to see the motion capture for that. Dangerous, really dangerous. I hope you had your HR involved, goodness me. Using spells in combat as well. Obviously, there's a crafting system this time around as well.
Yes.
How does that work?
So magic's a bit different this time. You actually craft it. You pick out elements from the environment, and then you can use those to craft with the treasures and things and the ingredients that you've picked up from the monsters you've defeated, and make different types of spells that you can actually perform on your enemies.
And with the spells as well, everyone's got his favourite Final Fantasy spell. Will there be classics coming back?
Yes, definitely. I mean, people will be playing and they'll be combining their concoctions for their spells, and they'll discover a lot of different, stat buffs and things like that you can do, and lots of classic Final Fantasy magic that you've seen in previous games.
And tell me about summons. Everyone online is getting incredibly excited about the summons. Some of them are huge. I've seen some of them. You showed me a couple very kindly. And yeah, people aren't going to know what's hit them, really.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think everybody, the first time you see Ramu, for example, in the previous demo we released, it is really impressive, and all of the summons have been really pumped up to be, really awe-inspiring things. Don't want to spoil too many things, this close to launch in terms of what's available, but they are really, colossal monsters that will help you in your fights, and I think we're going to see some more of that later on with the Leviathan.
Yes, we are, and I think Tabata-san's going to be talking us through the horrors that lie before us. Goodness me. So we have got some exclusive gameplay coming up very, very soon indeed, so stay tuned for that. Keep watching, keep enjoying. Lovely Ian. We are going to be bringing that a little bit later on, but for now, let's get monstrous. Some of the most grotesque beasts like you could imagine, are on their way, and here are just a few of them. Welcome to Lestala Market. How are you guys doing, all right? This is where Ignis gets all of his glorious ingredients for some of his fine, fine recipes. An excellent cook, that man. So when it came to creating some of the environments, developers went to no small means to check out basically the entire universe, the entire world, to bring a little bit of our world into the world of Eos. Some parts of Final Fantasy 15, they look a bit like Havana. Some look a little bit like Venice. Here is what happened when they saw some tanks and went underground. Those underground caves look incredibly spooky. Not for £1 million. Not for £1 million, which weirdly enough is actually my show feed tonight. Welcome to the Deadeye camp. You can, of course, enjoy Kingsglaive at your earliest convenience, and also the Final Fantasy 15 anime online right now. And star of Kingsglaive, I'm joined by Mr. John Campling. How you doing, man?
Good evening. I'm very good.
You've let the hair free.
Let the hair free. Why not? Special occasion, go for it, I thought.
Such amazing hair physics, goodness me. So obviously you play King Regis in the film itself.
I do indeed. Yeah, he also pops up in the game as well. So.
Yes, of course, yeah, he's a big part of the game as well. In the film, we get to see how powerful King Regis is, but also how much power that takes from him, how much energy that saps from him. How difficult was the role?
I mean, yeah, as you say, using the crystal, protecting Insomnia and saving the world, it takes a toll. There is a price. The power's great, but it does age him. So going into that as an actor, quite a challenge. But I'm experienced. I've done quite a bit, been around the block. So and it was a great team. Got fantastic direction from the director through. Sometimes in the UK, sometimes via Skype. He's directing from Japan. But as an actor, you draw on what you know, and obviously, there's certainly when your son's life is at stake and your entire kingdom, that's quite easy to tap into. You can easily understand the gravitas of that. You give something, the director says, "Yep, that worked. More of that, less of that," and together you work to get the performance you need.
Well, I mean, he's not a king who just sits on the throne and does nothing all day. He's quite an action-orientated chap. How hard was that, the kind of combat and stuff like that?
It wasn't hard at all. I love doing that sort of stuff. And as I'm getting a little bit older, I get to do less of it, which is sad. But I did get to do a little bit.
It's been a long
really,
time
it's
since
just dance moves, fighting, stage fighting choreography. It is choreography. It is dance moves. And with this, in a way, we were lucky because it was motion capture. Quite often with stage fighting, you're always looking for safety and always making sure that actors aren't too close together with their swords and their weapons and their fists. But because this was mocap, we could actually do the fight in real time, separated physically in two different bits of the volume, and then the clever guys, in the tech room later on would move us close enough so it looked real. So there was that massive safety element, and once you know you're safe, you can put a lot more effort into it and appear to be a lot more committed to the moves. So it works really well in mocap.
Exactly. I mean, you're of course the face and the body, let's say, of the King Regis, but Sean Bean provides your voice. How weird was that?
It was and always will be quite weird, but in a good way. I mean, who wouldn't want to be intrinsically eternally associated with Sean Bean, so I'm very proud of that. And for me as well, you know, it was the best of both worlds in a way, because when we were actually doing the performance, I was doing the voice as well. So I did a full performance with, you know, vocals, and I was directed on the vocals, so we get, you know, I get direction saying, you know, yeah, just quieten that down, a little bit more serious. So I was getting vocal direction as well, so I didn't have to separate the two. And then obviously Sean came in and listened to what I'd done, and then Sean Beanified it.
He beamed it up, goodness me. And of course, he gets killed in pretty much every role he plays, so you must have been a little bit worried about the fate of King Regis.
I mean, luckily, I'd already read the script, so I was already well ahead. But I remember reading with, you know, hilarious joy all the forums when it was announced who was going to be the voice, because of course everyone went there, as I'm sure, you know, Square Enix knew everyone would. It's fantastic. And yeah, poor old Sean, always dies.
Poor old Sean, always dying. You, of course, also got turned into like a 2D anime figure as well.
I mean, is there a measure? Is there a measure of how cool being animified is? I don't think there is. It's of some scale. Yeah, I could not believe that. That was like, I mean, this has been the job that just keeps on giving. Even tonight, you know, here I am today in EOS having
in a dirty campsite. We take you to the nicest places.
Absolutely. And being animated, I remember that the day that I realised that was happening, and I just wandered around with an inane smile on my face. The smile of a man who's just found out he's been turned into an anime character.
An inane anime smile.
Anime smile. Yeah.
Well, shall we check out an exclusive trailer of Kingsglaive?
Let's do it. Let's watch.
Let's see the king.
I'm ordering a full retreat. Get back here alive. That's an order.
Go then. Save me.
The objective is twofold. Secure the hostage, stay the enemy advanced.
Hell, let's get out of there! It's a trap!
Never let it be said that being a monarch is easy. Goodness me. Welcome back to the IGN premiere of Final Fantasy 15. I look incredibly and feel incredibly underdressed where I'm standing. Goodness me. Remember, you've still got time to vote for the footage you want to see. The monster we're going to be fighting a little later on, Noctis and crew, taking on either a Midgardsormr or indeed the Bandersnatch. And this is how you can get involved. Wow. I don't know who to choose, to be honest. I don't think either of them look particularly palatable. Goodness me. One of the things that surprised me about Final Fantasy 15 was how big a role that food made in the game. Square Enix have teamed up with Jamie Oliver's 15 range of restaurants to recreate some of the dishes you're going to be eating in Final Fantasy 15. Here's Tabata-san to tell us all about it.
Hello everyone, I'm Hajime Tabata, Director of Final Fantasy 15. 今日は超有名なシェフであるジェイミー・オリバーの店 FF15 というレストランに来てます。でここで今日 FF15 の料理が食べられるということで非常に楽しみにしています。 FF15 にとって料理というのは人間にとって食事が最も大事な要素であるように FF15 のキャラクターたちにとっても生きていく上でとても欠かせないものです。でさらに FF15 の料理を制作している、料理チームのリーダーシェフの長谷川智弘は彼はアートディレクターでもあるんですが、彼が最も尊敬するシェフというのがジェイミー・オリバーその人です。そういう意味もあって今日は非常に楽しみにしてます。どうもありがとう。まあまあ美味しい。
That looked delicious, guys. Goodness me.
でしょ。まあ本当の味はちょっとまだ言いにくいけどね。
It's quite difficult to say how it actually tasted, though.
It was pretty cold when it got to you.
結構冷たかったんでしょ、食べてた時。
そうなんだよ。
It was, it was.
待ってたからね、しばらく。
I waited a long time to eat that.
So this is what you've all been waiting for, basically. We've got Tabata-san and also Akira Iwata from Square Enix, from Final Fantasy 15. We got the lead CG artist, and we've got the director himself, all the way from Japan. Come on!
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
We just came to see you, Tabata-san.
Yeah.
いや、
そんなことないですよ。
Can I call you Tabby?
旅と呼んでいいですか？
Okay. Call me Tabby.
All right, we'll do that. We'll do that. So, if I could direct a question to Iwata-san first. The rainy weather in Final Fantasy 15. I noticed that when the car was driving through a tunnel that came out, the rain hit the top and the roof came up. Does weather play a big role in Final Fantasy 15?
まずは岩田さんにちょっと質問したいんですけど、ゲームの中でプレイしてる時にですね、トンネルから出て雨が降り始めたんですけど、そこで車の屋根が上がったというのを見たんですけど、そのやはり雨とかその他の天気が15の中で重要な役目を果たすのでしょうか？
はい、そうですね。雨はただ単に景色が変わるだけじゃなくて、例えば雨が降ってるとすごい大きいカエルが出てきたりとか、あと、僕も大好きなんですけども、釣りとかもその雨の日しか雨の日しか釣れないっていうとちょっと嘘かな。雨の日だと違う魚が釣れたりとかしますね。あとちょっと地味だけど個人的に一番気に入ってる変化はノクトたちプレイヤーのその自慢のツンツンヘアが ちょっとね元気がなくなる感じそれがねすごい気に入ってる
Now, the weather's not just about the rain, it's not just about changing how the views in the game look. There's a lot of different changes in the game world that happen when rain falls and when other weather effects happen. So, for example, you'll see lots of really massive frogs start coming out in the world when it's raining heavily. And one other thing, I'm particularly fond of the fishing in the game. And so when it starts raining, it's not you can only get them when it's raining, but there's a number of fish which are different fish you can get when it's raining. You can get in the different fishing spots. And finally, it's quite a small, subtle touch, but the great spiky hair that the main characters have. When it starts raining heavily, you'll see it starts losing its vitality and gets a bit pressed down like that.
Happens to the best of us, I think it's fair to say.
みんなありますよね、そういうの。
So tell us about the crown update, Tabby.
クラウンアップデートについて教えてください。
クラウンアップデートって、その名前はちょっとね、かっこつけすぎな気もするんだけど、その名前の通り、すごく豪華なアップデートっていう意味です、まず。
Yeah, I mean, the crown update, I think we maybe tried a little bit hard with the name there, but as it suggests, it really is a really, really great, bountiful piece of content you get with that update.
で内容は新規の追加要素と、あとはその元々入っていた要素のアップグレードとどちらも含んでます。
And as content-wise, it contains both completely new things we've added into the game and also upgrades and enhancements for things that were already on the game.
そう興味のある人は正規のインフォメーションを見てほしいんだけど、僕が一番このアップデートの中で気に入っているのは、キングスグレイブの映像が今回本編の中に収録されているっていうところですね。
I mean, people who are interested in the update, I urge you to go and find more detailed information in various places. But personally, what I really like best about this update is how that now you've got some of the movie scenes from the film Kingsglaive, which are actually shown now in the main game itself.
あとは歩いてる時に音楽聴けるようにしたんです。それも結構おすすめ、すごくいいと思う。
One of my other big recommendations I think is really good is how you can now listen to music while you're walking around the game world.
And there is a lot of music in that game world.
音楽結構入ってますよね、15.
いっぱい入ってますよ。
There's a lot in there, yes.
あれがね、ドライブ中だけだともったいないなと思って、普通に歩いてる時もいつも聞けるようにしようと。そういうことやったの。
Nah, because we think there's so much great music there. It was a bit of a shame just having it only when you're driving around. So we changed it to make sure that you could listen to that when you're walking around the world as well.
And we thank you for that, Tabby.
Okay,
So we got a couple of questions from Twitter. Thank you very much to anyone who got involved. From Dennis J. What media influenced Final Fantasy 15 outside the realm of video games? Any movies, TV shows?
テレビゲームの世界以外で、例えば映画とか小説とかで15の影響を与えた作品とかでヒントになった作品何がありますでしょうか。
いっぱいありますよ。いっぱいあるんだけど、例えばロード・オブ・ザ・リングとかはすごく好きな映画だし、あれから受けている影響っていうのもかなりあります。
There are quite a few there, I think. I mean, certainly, The Lord of the Rings is one thing that I really like as a film, and I think we had a bit of influence from that, certainly.
だけど一番今回の我々の制作にとって重要だったのは実体験ですね。僕らの本当に旅をした経験とか、本当に洞窟に潜ってた経験とか、危険な山を本当に命がけで登った経験とか、そういうのがいっぱい今回ゲームの中に持ち込まれているのが、一番のインスピレーションの元だと思う。
But I'd say certainly that the biggest source of inspiration for Final Fantasy 15 was our actual real life experiences that we had. Things like the journeys we went on ourselves, the travels that we've had, going into deep, dark, scary caves and climbing up dangerous mountains, and we really tried to get that into 15 as part of the inspiration.
I want to see you, Tabby, fighting at a Leviathan.
旅がレバイアサンと戦ってるの見てみたいですね。
リバイアサンとは戦わなかったけど、イノシシと向き合って勝てるかどうかは見てきたよ。
No, I didn't fight any Leviathans making the game, but I had a set where I looked at a wild boar as it coming at me and thinking, could I beat this?
恐ろしかった。
It was quite frightening.
I'm sure you could, Tabby. I'm sure you could.
勝てるでしょうね。
Let's head on over to Joe Screbbles, who's chatting to a couple of people in the audience.
Hello. Hello, the internet. Thank you, Pete. And yes, I am joined by some esteemed members of our fabulous audience tonight who have some questions for Mr. Tabata. We're going to start with Hassan here. How's it going, Hassan?
I'm good, thanks.
Excellent. And would you like to ask a question?
Yeah, sure. Are you planning to open up more of the world of EOS in the future?
タブさん、これから EOS の世界をもっと拡張する、もっと広くする予定はあるんでしょうか。
今回の本編の世界ね。
The world that the game is 15 set in, yeah?
我々もあの世界はとても気に入っているし、まだまだポテンシャルがあると思ってるから、発売後もどんどん拡張もしたいし、多くのコンテンツを載せるために新規のロケーションっていうのも作りたいなとは思ってるよ。
Now, we really love the world that we've created for the game, and we see a lot of potential in it for the future. So after the launch of the game, we want to add more and more new areas, new content, and really upgrade it and make it even bigger, greater experience.
So there you have it.
Okay.
We've got more coming. So now we have Holly. Holly, how's it going tonight?
Good. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you for asking. People never do that. So you've got another question. Would you like to ask?
The characters Noctis and Luna Freya's costume designs are impressive, but what stood out to me was the contrast between Noctis's black outfit and Luna Freya's white dress. As a team, why did you decide to show this contrast?
ですね、今回の特にノクトとルーナの服装がすごくいいんですけども、そのノクトの黒ずくめとルーナの真っ白のドレス、そのコントラストがものすごい面白いモチーフだと思ったんですけど、なぜそのようなモチーフにしたんでしょうか。
ファイナルファンタジーって光と闇っていうテーマがずっとシリーズとしてあります。そして、今回その光と闇を白と黒に置き換えて、白間黒間っていう要素ともすごくミックスしてるんだけども、アートディレクターだった直良祐介、FF7 からアートディレクターやってます。その直良祐介が、そういったその FF の光と闇というテーマや、白と黒という要素をその衣装のコントラストに、出してます。
Okay, I mean, the contrast between light and darkness has been a classic theme that's run throughout the whole of the Final Fantasy series. It's been represented in lots of different ways, so like mixed up between the black mages and the white mages in the game and all kinds of things like that. It was actually one of our art directors, Mr. Naora Yusuke, who came up with the idea of using the black costume in Noctis and the white costume for Luna to show that contrast, changing the light and dark to black and white there. And it was really his idea to put it in Final Fantasy 15.
Okay. So there you have it. A classic theme is reborn in Final Fantasy 15. And to round us out, we have Connor. Connor, how is it going?
I am good, thank you very much.
Excellent, excellent. And would you like to ask a question?
Yes, I very much would. So basically, my question is, how do you make each Final Fantasy in general feel like a Final Fantasy game despite changing so many formulas every time?
ファイナルファンタジー作るたびに毎回いろんな要素を新しくしたり変えたりするんですけども、それでもやはりファイナルファンタジーであるっていうそのエッセンスを保つのにどのような工夫をするんでしょうか。
まず FF をずっと作り続けているたくさんの開発者が最新作にも取り組んでいるっていうのがまずは一つ FF の遺伝子がちゃんとずっと続いているっていうことになっている、そういう要素かなと思います。
Okay, I think one big element which means that the DNA of the Final Fantasy series really is kept on for the latest installment is that it's basically the same team. The people who've been making Final Fantasy for such a long time, they involve themselves in the production of each new game in the series. I think that's one big element there.
でその FF をずっと作ってきているスタッフと新しいスタッフが一緒になってで前作を超えるファイナルファンタジーを作るっていう目標で毎作ナンバリングを作るので、そういう意味で進化をしながら常にファイナルファンタジーでもありつつ、毎回挑戦をしているという感じだと思います。
And so, in addition to that, it's got the same staff, and it's that mixture of old staff who've been on the team for a long time and new staff who've come to the project. But every time we start a new Final Fantasy, we really set ourselves the objective of overcoming and exceeding the previous game in the series. So I think that reason and that way we approach the game is how that we manage to make it new and exciting and evolve every single time, but still manage to keep it at its core as a Final Fantasy game each time.
Awesome stuff. We've got a couple more questions from the room. Dragon Assassino. Actually, this one's from Twitter, as you can imagine, with a name like that.
Okay.
この名前だったらツイッターしかないですね。
Will I have to play other Final Fantasies to know the story?
15のストーリーを理解するには他のファイナルファンタジーをプレイする必要があるんですか？
それは素晴らしい質問。
It's a great question.
Great question. FF ってナンバリングごとに毎回ゲームの内容も違うしストーリーも違うのでどこからでも始められるっていうのがまず特徴なんですね。
I mean, that's one of the characteristics of the Final Fantasy series, that the story and the characters, everything is completely different each time, so you can play them from any order, really.
で特に FF15 はそこをすごく大事にしていてこれまでのファンとそしてこれからファンになってくれる新しいユーザーとどちらに対しても最高のゲームを届けるっていう目標でやってきたのでこの15から FF に入るっていうのはすごく最適だと思う。
And that's one thing we really did focus on and concentrate on for making Final Fantasy 15 is that we really should reach out to both people who've been old, long-time fans of the series and completely new players as well. And so I really think that Final Fantasy is the perfect way to start playing Final Fantasy and get into the series.
One final one from Ebony Abbott. Thank you, Ebony. Favourite part for me as well of the game is definitely the car, the regalia.
僕もゲーム一番好きなその車ですね、リガリアですね。
What made you replace Final Fantasy's usual airship with the regalia?
おなじみの飛空艇をなぜレガリアにしたのでしょうか。
いや今回の旅のパートナーといったらやっぱりレガリアだろうなっていうところが一番大事っていうか一番大きかったかな。
I think the biggest thing that we felt was most important was that the fact that the regalia is very much your partner on this journey through the game.
まあそれがすごく真面目な説明で、もう一つの真面目じゃない説明だと、まあ車が空飛ぶとすごくエキサイトしない？
I mean that's a very serious answer, but to have a slightly less serious answer, isn't it just really cool to see cars flying around the sky?
僕もまあ車いつも乗るんだけど、渋滞した時に飛べたらいいなって常に思うから、まあそういう僕らの潜在的な欲求も入ってるかもしれない。
No, I mean I'm always driving around in my car, and whenever I get stuck in a traffic jam, I always think, wouldn't it be great if I could just take off and fly away from this? So I think maybe there's some of that subliminal want from my part going in there.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. Iwata-san, Tavi, thank you so much. Domo arigatou gozaimasu.
Thank you so much.
They're going to head off and talk us through a little bit of footage, exclusive footage we've got for you a little later on. Now, you've been voting in your droves via the IGN website. We had the choice between the Bandersnatch or the Midgardsormr, and I can exclusively and excitedly reveal that with a colossal 71% of the vote, you wanted to see Noctis kick in a Midgardsormr.
Hello, Joe Scrabbles here again. I'm with Iwata-san and Tabata-san. We are going to watch the Midgardsormr, which was voted for by people who wanted to make it difficult for me to pronounce things tonight, which is great. So, if we could talk through first, what is a Midgardsormr? Again, can't say it. And what do we need to do to take them on?
どうしても名前発音できないんですけど、ミッドガルゾーロンってどういうものか、それをと戦うのにどのようなことをしなきゃいけないでしょうか。
ミドガルゾールムはね FF7 にも登場してて、まあ他のFF にも登場してるんだけれども、ファンだったらすごくよく知っている恐ろしい大蛇大蛇のモンスターだね。
No, the Midgardsormr is a monster that appeared in Final Fantasy VII. It appeared in a number of other Final Fantasies as well. It's a very popular monster among Final Fantasy fans. Most of them will know it. It's basically a gigantic snake-like monster.
15の場合アクションゲームプレイだから、そのでかいミドガルゾルムが締め付けに来るところを避けながら倒すっていうことが必要になってくる。
I mean, one of the big things about fighting, because Final Fantasy 15 is an action-based game, when it comes at you and tries to constrict you in its coils, and trying to avoid that while still attacking it is one of the big points in this battle.
And of course, Iwata-san, we're looking at a monster that we've seen before. People are very familiar with it. Most, as you say, most obviously from Final Fantasy VII. How do you go about redesigning a monster for an action game, but keeping it with the classic design that everyone remembers and knows?
確かにさっき田畑さんがおっしゃったように、これはセブンでおなじみのモンスターですごく人気があってみんなよく知ってるモンスターなんですけども、今回でそのデザインを更新するのにどのような工夫をしてるでしょうか。
デザインもなんだけれども、やっぱり表現力が上がったので、すごくそうね、見た目の
I mean, because of the amount of things we can show in the new the power of the new consoles has risen so much. That's one of the things we have to look at for the design.
質感とかこだわったし、あとやっぱりターンベースじゃなくてアクションに挑戦したことで、その AI とかアニメーションで、こういうところに自然に本当に生きて、生息しているように見えるようにすごく注意して作る。
So we had to pay a lot of attention to the textures and how it looks and feels there, and certainly because it's an action game, also the AI and the animation systems to make sure it felt really natural that this kind of creature would exist in this kind of environment and how it would behave.
And of course, the areas that they appear in are as important as the creatures themselves. Are we looking at what is a Midgardsormr habitat? Are we going to find them in this kind of area?
やはりそのモンスターと同じように大事なのが存続するエリアなんですよね。こういう場所ってやっぱりミッドガルソームが住んでる生態というわけになるんですか。
そうやっぱり水場にいそうなモンスターは水場にいて、そして森の中にいそうだなと思うようなモンスターがやっぱり森の中にいて、でもちろんサプライズとかもあるんだけれども、みんなが冒険してワクワクするようなモンスターの自然に生きてるようにモンスターが配置されてたり、見た目もそれにちゃんと説得力があるように作ってます。
Yeah, no, so you'll find monsters which really should be hanging around out by water features in those areas, and monsters which live in forests you'll find in forests. There's a number of surprises in there too, but we really did want to have that feeling of believability, of verisimilitude, where you really believe that these monsters that you encounter are going to be living in the places that you find them in.
Just like when it rains, massive frogs come out.
雨が降ると大きな貝類が出てくると同じですよね。
そうそうそう。
That's right.
And so, you know, this is obviously a high-level sort of battle. What tactics do you have for
これ
beating
結構
Midgardsormr?
ハイレベルなバトルに見えるんですけど、どのような戦略を使えば勝てるんでしょうか。
まずアクションのバトルなんだけれども、チームで戦うことが重要です。仲間の力もうまく使いながら戦う。コンビネーションでね。
It's an action battle, but I mean, one of the most important things is to fight as a team, to rely on your comrades and to fight as one unit.
でそれから、テクニックに自信がある人はそのノクティスをフルにアクションで活用して戦えばいいんだけれども、そういう人ではばかりではないよね。そういう人たちはね、魔法をうまく使うと有利に戦うことができます。
So if you're a very skilled action player and you've got confidence in your ability to play these kind of action games, then you can just use Noctis and all his combat moves to try and win in that manner. But for not all players are like that. So for people who aren't like that, you can rely on the magic to fight more tactically and win in another way.
And that's how you win.
でこうやって勝つんですよね。
そうそう。
That's it.
はい、おめでとう。
Congratulations.
So there you have it, everyone. That was the Midgardsormr. Your choice, overwhelmingly, to, again, make me mispronounce things. And now, we are getting to the moment that everyone's been waiting for. This is where we come to the exclusive new footage, never before seen. Is everyone ready? That's a fair reaction. That's a fair reaction. So, we are going to be showing you the Leviathan boss battle. This is a summon that you will earn by beating this boss. But before we get into it, let's intro where are we, how did we get here, and what are we going to do?
まずここがゲームのどこでどう位置つけて、これから何をするかちょっと紹介していただけますでしょうか。
今から皆さんに見せるのはゲーム中盤のクライマックスシーンで、このゲームの中でもかなりトップクラスのものすごいスーパーバトルですね。
No, this scene we're going to see now is basically the climax of the middle part of the story in the game, and it's a very high level, quite a rare, super high class battle you can engage in.
Well, without further ado, why don't we kick it off? This is the Leviathan boss battle. So we start off in this very idyllic-looking place that unfortunately is full of Niflheimers now.
まあ非常に綺麗なところですけど、ニフル軍がどんどん進化してきてるんですよね。残念ですよね。
そうだね。ストーリー上の敵であるニフル軍と戦うのはもちろんなんだけど、そこにこうリバヤさんというすごい強敵との戦いも同時に起こるっていうのが、このシチュエーションの特徴です。
No, that's the situation you find yourself in the story here. Obviously, the Niflheim army is invading here. You're fighting against them, but also the Leviathan, one of the Astrals, has risen and appeared here. You've got to fight against her at the same time.
でリバヤさんはね、ヒロインのルーナが、目覚めさせてるんだけども、その目覚めたリバヤさんはめちゃめちゃ怒ってるんだよね。理由はちょっと言えないんだけど。
And so obviously the heroine of the game, Luna, has awakened the Leviathan. I can't tell you exactly why, but Leviathan being woken up, she's very, very angry at that.
そのめちゃめちゃ怒ってるリバヤさんとプレイヤーは戦わなきゃいけないっていうのがかなり大変なシチュエーションでしょ。
It's quite a difficult situation for the player because now they actually have to fight against this enraged, awakened Leviathan.
So essentially we've ruined nap time.
じゃあリバヤさんのお昼寝の時間を邪魔したってわけですね。
そういうことです。
That's right.
お昼寝もずっと長い間眠ってたんだけどね。昼寝
Not quite just a nap though. She's been asleep for a very long time.
Well. And of course, with the team split up, we see Noctis fighting alone, which is something we haven't seen so much. So how does it change the game when you're playing
や
without
は
your
り
party?
今まであんまり見てないんですけども、チームがみんなバラバラで別コードを取ってるんで、ノクトが一人で戦ってるんですよね。それがゲームプレイにどのような影響があるんでしょうか。
さっきポイントだよって言ったコンビネーションができないので、ここは本当に一人の自分のテクニック自力で切り抜けるしかない。
No, this is just as I said in the previous comment that you cannot rely on combination play and team play techniques. So you really have to rely on your own action skills to get through this fight.
そして仲間がいる、仲間ってありがたいなと思った頃にこうやって仲間が助けに来てくれる。
And then at these points where you think, I'd be great if I had some buddies around to help me, they come and help you out like this.
That's quite an action stunt that he's pulling off there. We've got sort of a like the Final Fantasy version of a speeder bike from Star Wars there.
いやこれすごいスタントですよね。スター・ウォーズのスピードバイクのファイナルファンタジーバージョン見えるんですよ。
でも乗ってるのは敵軍の乗り物だけどね。
Now you're riding on one of the enemy's machines here.
And so this is more of a sort of QT section and like an action section, less like the standard combat we've seen. So are we talking about various sequences in the boss battles? This isn't just straightforward open world combat as we've seen so far.
これは今まで見ている普通のオープンワールドのコンバットとちょっと違ってですね、そういうQT とか挟むアクションシークエンスなんですけど、これはやっぱボスバトルだからですかね。
そうリバヤさん戦はそのリバヤさんと直接戦うところに 至るまでもすごくドラマチックな戦闘としてデザインされてるんで、ようやく今リヴァイアさんにたどり着いたんだけど、そこまでもすごく重要なシーケンスが連続してるんです。
No, I mean, as you see, we've just arrived at where Leviathan is now, but the idea and the way that this was designed was to be a really dramatic sequence leading up to the actual battle with her itself. So in the trek to get there, you have to go through these really dramatic action scenes to do that.
あれは俺に力を貸してくれって言ってるんだけど、とてもじゃないけどこれ戦いにならないようなサイズでしょ。
I mean, he's saying, please lend me your power, but this is perhaps not utterly impossible, but it's a very, very large enemy to be fighting, I think.
So it's not as much a battle as it is just trying to impress someone much more
じゃ
powerful
あバ
than
トル
you.
というよりは気に入ってもらうことですかね。
でもリヴァイアさんはすごく怒ってるから、認めてもらうにはやっぱり力を示すしかないんだよね。
Nah, but Leviathan is very, very angry here. So in order to have her accept you and your abilities, you're really just going to have to fight her.
はい、で今までなんとなくのイメージで召喚獣がいたと思うんだけども、FF のシリーズの中で実際に戦うとこんな感じだよっていうのがこのバトルで分かると思う。
So I think people who've played through Final Fantasy have got some kind of image of what it must be like facing down one of the summon monsters, but this is where for the first time you really get to feel what it's like to take one of these things on.
And so we kind of looking at moves that we will see our summon performing later on once we've earned the Leviathan.
というとそのレバイアさんがのことを認めたら召喚できるようになってから自分が使える技もここで見ることできるんですか？
ああ、そうだね。はい。
You'll see some, yeah.
まあ自分がそれを食らう番だけど最初はね。
But you're going to have to be hit by them first.
So if fans are looking closely, they can perhaps intuit some little details about the game.
というのはここでファンがよく見てたらこれがこういう風に使えるんじゃないかっていうヒントがいくつかあるんですかね。
そうだね、ちょっとありました。
There are a few of those, yes.
はいはい。
And so now we're entering the climactic section of the battle. We've got the royal arms surrounding Noctis. I believe you have a special name for this form of Noctis.
いやこれはですねもうクライマックスに向かってるんですけど、そういうファントムソードが周りを回っててこの状態のノクト特別な名前があると聞いたんですけどいかがですか？
特別な名前じゃないけど、まあ我々はスーパーノクトって呼んでるだけで。
It's not a particularly special name, but we call him Super Noctis here.
ちょっとね、ある理由から今ノクトの力が解放されている状態だよね。
I mean, there's a certain specific reason why Noctis now unlocked his full powers at this point.
See, and so is this how we're earning all our summons? Oh!
でこうやって
Oh no!
認めてもらうんですよね。
そうそう。
You do, yes.
さっきのミドガルド・オルム戦はすごくリアリスティックな戦いだったと思うんだけど、今のリヴァイアさん戦っていうのは本当にファンタジーの世界の戦いでしょ。そういうのが同居してるっていうのが FF15 の面白いところだと思うよ。
I think that's one of the really interesting things and exciting things about Final Fantasy 15 is you saw the Midgardsormr battle, and that was a very somewhat realistic kind of battle, whereas the battle against Leviathan was just pure exciting fantasy. So I really like that disjunct between those two.
Well, that's awesome. So that is the Leviathan boss battle, not the whole thing, as you heard from the crowd there. Left them wanting a little more. And well, I mean that about finishes us up. But before we hand over to Pete to close us out, I believe Tabata-san has a message to the fans out there.
田畑さんから何かのメッセージがあると聞いたんですけど、
そっち
どうぞ。
はい。そうね、ようやくあと1週間でゲームを発売できるということで、我々スタッフも全員なんだろうな、変な緊張感もあるし、ワクワクする気持ちもあるし、発売日を早く世界のファンと一緒に祝いたいっていう気持ちで、待ち遠しくなってます。
Okay, first of all, it's now finally 1 week before the game comes out, and all the development staff. All the development stuff, we've got this feeling of nervousness, and we've got this. We're also very excited about it too. We really do want to be able to celebrate the final release of the game alongside all of the fans out there when it finally does come out next week.
ただね、そのみんなでお祝いをしたいこの気持ちに水を差すようなことが今起きてるっていうのもちょっと聞いてるんだよね。残念ながら特に日本だと思うんだけれども。発売日よりもね先にゲームを入手してそこで得た情報っていうのをどんどん拡散しているような人たちもいるというのもちょっと聞いてるんです。
But unfortunately, there are a few things which very unfortunately may be starting to rain on our parade, and it's a very sad thing to say. This is mainly in Japan, really. But there's a number of people who may have somehow acquired the game illegally before the release date, and they're spreading spoilers across the internet.
多分日本語だとネタバレって言ってね、こっちだとスポイラーって言うと思うんだけど、そのネタバレによって多くのユーザーの発売を待っているユーザーの人たちがすごく残念な目に遭ってしまったり、その15のねその関係者もしくは販売のね関係者の人たちがすごく不安になってしまったりしてるってことを聞いてます。まずそこに本当にお詫びしたいなと思います。
So yeah, I mean, in Japanese we call it netabare. In Europe and in the English world, it's known as spoilers. And these are really going out, and they're spoiling the fun for a lot of people who have been looking forward to Final Fantasy 15 for such a long time. And it's causing a lot of worry for people maybe involved in the sales of the game and the production, the making of the game too. So first of all, I'd really like to apologize to people out there that these kinds of problems are happening. It's just a very sad state of affairs.
で、今そのネタバレの行為がですね、ネタバレを拡散するということが営業妨害に当たる行為だったのかどうかということを調査していますし、もしそうだった場合、もちろん当然法的な措置も含めて検討していますので、まずはそれに関していろいろと不安な気持ちをいろいろとお伝えいただいているんですけれども、そこに関してはしっかりとこちらも対応しますので、皆さん安心してください。
So yeah, we're currently looking into whether these kinds of activities, spreading these spoilers across the internet, does legally constitute obstruction of our business or not. And if it's found out that it does, then we will take legal measures to stop these being posted and take them down. But yeah, we apologize for all the problems caused and all this worry and angst being caused, but we are taking solid steps to address this.
長く待ってもらってるゲームだから、やっぱりね、他の人の楽しみを奪っちゃいけないと思う。なので、もう即刻やめてください。
So yeah, I mean, people have been waiting such a long time, and it's just not really on. It's not fair to spoil the fun of other people. So just stop that right now.
ジェームスもそう思うでしょ。
Guys, we've waited this long for it. You can wait one more week. Seriously. Thank you so much for your time, guys. We're going to pass over to Pete to close us out. But from me and from us, thank you so much to everyone who's here. And thank you to the internet as well.
Thank you very much. どうも。
Wow. Tabata-san went a bit Liam Neeson there, didn't he? I have a particular set of skills. Thank you so much for stopping by. You guys have been great in the studio. Thank you to Tabata-san. Thank you to Iwata. Thank you to Paul. Thank you to Joe. Thank you to John as well. It's been real. It's been emotional. If you've watched us in a cinema or across Europe, if you've been watching us on IGN.com, I want to say a big thank you to you too. About 2 days ago, this place was just completely empty. Now it's full of literally Final Fantasy 15. So give yourselves a round of applause once again. It's goodbye from Tabata-san. It's goodbye from the world of Eos. Thank you for joining us. The game comes out on the 29th of November, next Tuesday. Pick it up, I implore you. It's going to be a hell of a road trip. We've been IGN. We'll be back very soon with more Final Fantasy 15.
You